if you want to master something, um, if you start sharing it, actually you are teaching it to yourself. But in a city, there is millions and millions and millions of voices saying, I'm eating, I'm driving, I'm working, I'm making love, I'm doing this, I'm raising a child, I'm worried, I'm. That's the problem. It's not the things that we are doing, it's all the time feeling that you are doing them.
We have Ivan Bava with us. Hi, Ivan. Welcome to WOW.
Wow is a word that I like to use in my programs a lot. So some people will often say, oh, it's the wow guy.
Ivan, just to give a small introduction to the participants about you before we start off. Ivan is an internationally recognized spiritual teacher, healer, emotional therapist from Croatia who established his schools of awareness and spiritual mastery in Spain, India, Slovenia, and Croatia. He's been very active spreading meditation and spiritual practices, and he recognized Satya Sai Baba as his teacher, and he decided to resign from all his corporate duties and establish the Center of Consciousness in Croatia, giving his body and mind to be used in the service of humanity. So he's also a guest lecturer at the Department of Consciousness Development at the University of Granada, the Faculty of Economics at the University of Malaga, and some other universities in Europe. And he's also doing a doctorate in metaphysics from the University of Sedona. And there's a lot of things that uh, to talk about Ivan. He also runs an academy online, and he does a lot of retreats in India. And overall, he's a great dear friend to a lot of us here. So, welcome to Words of Wisdom, Ivan. Happy
Thank
to
you.
yeah.
Very happy to be here and for this invitation.
Thank you. So, Ivan, today's topic that you chose is surrender to the highest. So,
Mm.
before dive into the topic, we would love to know a little background about you because you come from Croatia, which where you have seen a lot of wars, and it's
Mm.
a very pleasant experience to be in the childhood. So, for a person who has grown up there, survival would be the first thing to go for. But how did you come into spirituality?
Um, I don't think it's a one-time event or something that occurred now. It was just a reminder or coming back, remembering oneself. Um, so my childhood actually was very, very pleasant and very joyful. If we do not look at the 4 years of the war, which also for a child can be still somehow playful. But yes, it was traumatizing. Spirituality came in this life when when I started hearing about existence of God, and I did not want to believe anything. I really wanted to experience or to know for real. So I made like a request. I told it if the Supreme, if the Source, if the Creator exists, I want it to show itself to me. And without signs on the road, without any stupid metaphors, I just wanted it to be in front of me and to show itself. And if it doesn't exist, then I can continue living as I did. So it happened over 2 nights that I would have identical lucid dreams where actually I don't know whether it was Jesus or Babaji because they look quite similar in this form with long hair and long robe. Um, It was an invitation to enter and, and a confirmation that I will be protected. So the presence told me, enter my home and I will always protect you. So because it happened over 2 nights in a row, it provided a true experience and a state of bliss that I have never experienced in my life. So from then on, there was no more doubt. I really said, okay, you said you will protect me, I will be safe. So there is nothing for me to worry. I will live my life, I will listen to this inner guidance, and whatever comes, I know it is for the highest well being.
That's so wonderful. So, Ivan, this was your personal experience and you felt good about it.
Mm.
Um, so the spiritual practices that you're doing, you didn't keep it for yourself alone. You started to spread it, and you decided to give up your job and take this up full time and dedicate your complete life for the service of humanity. What really made you that? Because you were happy being doing your own practices. What really made you spread it?
Well, one thing is that if you want to master something, um, if you start sharing it, actually you are teaching it to yourself. First of all, because physically you're listening and you're confirming and you are putting yourself in those situations daily. And secondly, because there is nobody else. So everything you say to yourself, no matter how many millions of people might be listening. Um, and and actually, um, whenever, for example, I'm guiding a meditation or doing any session with people, I do not guide anything outwards. All I'm doing is I'm completely aware of what is happening here, what is happening within this body, within this mind, within the energy, and simply vocalizing it in a way. So people say they have the deepest meditation, the deepest experience, as if I was reading their thoughts, but I had no intention to do any of that. All I was is aware of what is present now. And when you do that, you're actually I'm having the deepest meditations when guiding or when being with or when sharing. I do enjoy just being with myself and not having to speak. Um, but overall in my life, uh, any healing that would need to happen, let's say for the heart or any emotional, any trauma, guiding a session for the people would provide the deepest healing for this being. So it was obvious from the beginning that sharing, as they say, is caring, but it's sharing is the best service to oneself as well. Um, and if you are asking, like, mm, if there was something that moved me to do that, actually it was the passing of Satya Sai from the body, where I felt that if this consciousness needed a body to operate on Earth, I'm giving this body in its service. I said, you can take it and you use it as you please. Um, and in the same period, within the same months of this happening, I met Patriji and coming to Pyramid Valley exactly on the only day in the month that he would be there without knowing anything about him. I have never heard of this man before. Um, but it was like an instant connection. I felt truly the presence of a great master, which is obvious with physical manifestations in this world of what would be achieved. This can't be done by a regular human being, um, and him guiding me over that weekend that he was there, and truly this was a key moment where I felt um, the master was there and giving me a message. And I'm very pragmatic. So when I receive a message from the source or from someone I respect as, let's say, higher consciousness or knows more, if I have asked for advice or if I have felt connected, I will then obey, let's say. I will obey the guidance of the heart, and that is true surrender. Um, so when he told me that weekend that enlightenment is not something that is going to happen in the future, but that I need to accept that it is already here and now, there was a great shift in my perception and in the way I observed life and felt about life. And when I came home, I resigned from all my corporate duties. And we opened the Center of Consciousness. So it was so powerful that I had no doubt what I need to do. And generally I'm like that. If I'm guided to do something, I feel it is an inner calling. There is then no logical analyzing whether it's profitable, whether I can do it, whether I can afford it, what sense does it make. I'm not counting on my mind to have any answers. I simply go with it. Um, so, for example, 2 years ago, there was a huge inner calling that I need to withdraw, um, and I felt to go to India. I spoke to a friend of mine who is an amazing Akashic record reader, and she said, "Well, your masters, your guides are advising that you withdraw to India with a one-way ticket and a little backpack and no luggage to carry, and just go, and life will give you something." And I really did. I closed all my work in Europe. I told all my team and students here that I will be back in several months, that I don't know when. And I left. And on the same day that I arrived, I met a dear friend who I have not seen in many years and ended up being a partner in this retreat center in Kerala. It all happened on the first day. Um, Life gave me other gifts there for me privately. I was introduced to someone who I call love of my life and share my intimacy and my physical life here. So it all happened on the same day of arriving to India, where I had no clue what I'm gonna do there, where I'm going. I just knew. I took a backpack and I left. So my life has been like that. I really trust the inner guidance.
So do you
I'm
call
sorry for a very long answer to your very short question.
beautiful? So do you call that as surrender, Ivan?
Uh, yes, surrender is where there is no sense of me wanting to be an individual, let's say, or striving to figure it out, or to have all the answers, to be the doer, to feel like I have achieved it, I have done. No, it is truly. Um, I see this body and this mind as a vehicle, as a tool of a higher thing living itself, like life itself lives itself, a purpose of life lives itself, and whatever life has a purpose for something, it will use it. Just like an apple tree is used to make apples that then fall on the ground and are given to animals, and now people also pick them and we eat them. So uh, uh, the let's say the apple tree is used as a vehicle for that purpose to come to life. I know that we are not trees or just other type of animal, but human beings often give themselves too great of an importance where where they think they need to figure things out on their own, that they need to be the ones who are the cause and effect of things, which is very egoistical and and so far from truth. Uh, so I call it like at the beginning, it seemed that there is you surrendering. Like, okay, there is a higher source. It is the purpose of life itself. And I'm going to now surrender myself to it. It's also a little egoistical, let's say, but it's a first step. It has to be there. Um, and then in this surrender, it's like a drop of rain falls into the ocean. um, it becomes the ocean. There is no more separation. So, in this surrender, suddenly there is the realization that you are the purpose itself, you are the life. So, you are no longer wondering what you're supposed to do, how is this expression gonna be. There is no too much worrying about it. There is just living. There is just impulses that are created and they are allowed to be expressed. Hmm.
Beautiful, Ivan. So we also say that you create your reality through your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. So
Hmm.
then we need to put efforts to create our reality as we want. So is surrendering something very different from wanting to create your life the way you want it?
No. Um, Surrendering is an acceptance of oneself as not separate from everything else. There is only one creator. There is only one consciousness. There is not hundreds of consciousnesses. So when one realizes that is the self-awareness, that is the self-realization, when one realizes that he is this, the only thing that exists, the consciousness itself, then it is obvious that you are the creator. There is nobody else. There is just you. So everything that comes to the mind, which is a tool for creation, because the consciousness itself does not create directly. It uses the mind in order to create. Um, if you follow the contemporary physics, especially the discoveries in quantum physics, you will see that it is now understood that there is no matter. Matter does not exist. There is only the vibration of something that is not material. When they go into the subatomic particles, into the quarks and beyond, the gluons, um, there is in the for example in the proton of the atom, um, when they go into the quarks, there is no matter, there is no building blocks. There is just something spinning very rapidly. But this something spinning is not a thing. and and the mind is actually imagining and then using the laws of physics to make things appear. So I don't call this world a reality, I call it an appearance. So everything that we see or perceive with our senses is just appearing. It is not real. The reality is unchangeable. The reality is invisible, untouchable, unheardable. So if it can be touched, seen, or smelled, it is an appearance. And appearance is not material. It is still just a vibration of things. For example, my finger has never touched anything because the electromagnetism of the atoms does not permit that two atoms touch each other. So even if I squeeze the fingers like this, they have never touched. It is impossible that anything touches anything. So you see, it's just a perception. Even this is a perception, is a feeling of electromagnetic impulse being transmitted to the brain. So when you know all of this, you start to realize, okay, the mind is a tool used to create, but who is using the mind? This is the very important question that each person has to um, ask himself. And then, mind, when it is not conscious, it is running on some autopilot, it is still creating. But it's a terrible thing. Imagine that you in your kitchen, you have a mixer, you have an oven, a stove, and imagine that those instruments, machines are working on their own, cooking whatever they want. You know, the mixer all the day, they mixing something. What are you mixing? If I didn't put something to mix, you should not be mixing. If I did not turn the oven and put thing to bake, it should not be baking. If it's baking by itself, it's then we say, oh, it's broken, it needs to be fixed. So when your mind is creating things on its own, it's broken, it's ill, it has to be fixed because it only creates properly when it is the consciousness using it to create. So if you still think, look, I am the one creating, I need to do it, it is still a broken system. Because until you know who are you to create? What quality of things are you going to create? Even if it seems very, very successful, it's nothing. It's truly nothing because it is not the gift. It is not made by the truth. It is made by the illusion. So I'm always inviting people, yes, you need to liberate yourself from victimhood, that life is imposed on you. And I spoke about this in LA in the Mega Meditation Summit. I said, first you feel you can't, you are weak, you are a victim of circumstances, of other people, of things, of where you were born and the family and how poor or whatever, ill, you were born without limb. So you feel victim, you feel not enough or not capable. Then we raise you and say, yeah, but look, you can. You have the mind, you have visualizations, you have affirmations, you have mantras, there is energy. You learn how to manipulate energy. You feel empowered, like, oh wow, I can. It's still a lie, but it's much better than the suffering one. At least at least you are creating something pleasant or something empowering. But you cannot stop there because you will still be trapped in the lie. And this is where unfortunately majority of the new age gets trapped. People simply stay there. Look what I have achieved. I am the creator of my life. Good for you. But don't stay there. You need to go further, which is third step is the surrender, which is, oh, I'm realizing it is actually not by my own conceiving it, by my own. Everything actually happens because the consciousness willed it. It is by, let's say, the grace of the source, the grace of the only thing that is real. If there was not this reality, the appearance would not have any place to be. So the appearance depends on the source, it depends on the consciousness. Wow. So suddenly you are still in duality, okay? There is you and then there is the source, which is also a lie, but it's a little bit closer to the truth than the first two. And then as the surrender deepens, as you stop thinking only of yourself, as you stop thinking that you are the doer, as the Bhagavad Gita clearly says, that uh, that all the actions, all the things already exist in the field, and that there is only one doer who does them. So when you let go of all these thoughts, their action will be there. Obviously, you have to act. The karma yoga is a part of this world. There is no way to avoid it. Thinking will be there, uh, automatic and the conscious as well. But as you stop nurturing the idea, oh, look how much effort I have made, look what everything I have built, look all of this, and you simply don't say it, you don't need to think it. simply act without saying, look what I have done. That is unnecessary. Doing is okay, completely. Not okay, it's great. So uh, there will be suddenly a realization and awakening. Oh, I was always this one that is the only one who can do, that is the only one who can act, the true creator. And you will notice it as a difference in peace. Um, I will usually compare and say, why, if you go to a forest or to some natural space, um, there are billions of beings living, bacteria and insects, and large animals and birds and trees and plants and flowers. There is so much. And there is so much happening. There is all the time somebody eating somebody. There is dying. Insects die, animals die, birds die, flowers die. Things disintegrate and are reborn. And still you feel in peace. You go to a forest and you have such a beautiful sensation of peace. You go to a city where not so many beings die daily because somebody ate them. Okay, we are somehow being civilized. We don't eat each other, but you don't feel that peace that you feel in the forest where there seems to be so much, let's say, violence as the mind would judge it. Well, the difference between a city and a forest is that in a forest there is nobody saying I am doing it. There is nobody saying, I am eating, I am breathing, I am feeling, I am thinking, I am doing this, I'm running, I'm eating grass, I'm flying, I'm singing. No, there is just singing happening. There is bird singing happening. There is eating of the grass happening. There is no thought, I am eating grass. But in a city, there is millions and millions and millions of voices saying, I am eating, I am driving, I am working, I am making love, I am doing this, I am raising a child, I am worried. That's the problem. It's not the things that we are doing. It's all the time feeling that you are doing them, thinking that you are doing them, that you are the doer. So in surrender, there is complete absence of this. There is just things happening by themselves in a way. And yes, you will realize it is you, but not the little one, not the one confined with the body, just life. I'm sorry if I'm unable to transmit it more clearly. This is.
Very clear, Ivan. And that was a very beautiful explanation as well. And as you said, people are in that automotive mode, like, default mode of thinking.
Hmm,
For people, this theoretically sounds good, but when it comes to practice, when it comes to living, that drop of rain losing its identity in the ocean is kind of a death for it, right? For
hmm,
us become a tree, the seed needs to die,
hmm,
and that death is very fearful. So how
hmm,
do people accept the fact that they are not doing, they have to be?
hmm. But you see, several hundred years ago, Uh, I don't know how it was in the East. Here in the West, with the Catholic Church and the grip on reality, let's say, everybody believed that Earth was a flat place under a dome, and it was a scientifically proven thing. There were scientists basing all the physics on the fact that it's a plane. Then came Copernicus and Galileo, who were with their telescopes realizing that maybe it is not true, maybe it's a ball spinning, and maybe it is not the center of the universe. Maybe we are rotating around the sun. So they were prosecuted because they were. But one day, simply, we realized no, it is so. And we accepted it. we accepted that even though with my senses I can only confirm that the sun rises in the east and goes across the sky, to my senses it is obvious that Earth is still. I don't feel any movement of the Earth, no rotation, no flying 700,000 kilometers per hour through the universe, none of that. It is still and the sun is going across the sky. That is the truth of my senses. How did I accept that Earth is a round ball when I have never seen it? I simply did. I simply accepted it. So you can't look for a procedure. When you hear the truth, you take it as true. And that's it. You simply have to adjust your behavior to the new facts. There is no other way. It's very straightforward. So every time I see the sun going across the sky, I do not believe that we are on a flat planet. Maybe it is true. I don't know. We have now accepted that it is a ball. And I don't have any proof about that either. But have accepted it as my truth just because the whole society accepted it as well. And it seems to be true until we prove it differently. I will live like that. So, even though my senses say differently, I'm choosing to adjust my behavior and my belief system to something I have accepted. This is the same. You simply accept it. And not only that, you need to start behaving according to what you have accepted. And when you see that your behavior does not match, you change it. Nobody else can do it for you.
Got it. That's so beautiful. And when you surrender to a guru or your own higher self.
Oh, no. I mean, guru can be a tool, but it's like a cane, or like when a child is starting to walk and then it has that little thing to raise itself up. I don't know how it's called. Um, but you can't stay with that forever. So, guru can also cripple you if you do not detach or if you keep the attachment there. But it can be a very useful tool. In my excuse me, in my case, it was. I uh, I never felt surrendered to a person because guru is not a person. I hope everybody realizes that if they do have a guru, that they're not actually that human being is not the teacher. It is the consciousness that is behind, and you should not mistaken the human being with the consciousness. Um, so in my case, it was actually recognizing the the consciousness behind, the source energy behind, that was truly always in my heart. I was lucky enough that my teacher would say, "Do not look for me with your eyes. Find me in the heart." And there is only one. So I pragmatically, as I said, did exactly that. And I could not really care less about what's happening outside. Um, and that was a great advice which I took. And surrender actually was always to the self, but not the false self, let's say the imagined self, but the self. Even I don't want to speak about abstract things. Um, when I say the false self, I don't mean that the body is false. We need to accept that you feel it, it hurts, there are sensations in it. The false self is only the idea that you have built about yourself that was not born. Body was born. Consciousness came with the body. So both of them are more real than the person that you imagine to be, which was created only over time. So Ivan Bavcevic was not born. there was a little boy born. But Ivan Bavcevic as a person was created. The name was given by the parents. The government issued a birth certificate with a national social security number, and they have created the person, a legal person. So the person was not born, so it's not true. And then over time the character was developed, and identities, and with the traumas and emotions and life circumstances, a person was made, but the body was created. So this made up person is the false. And it's time for everyone to stop nurturing their idea that they are this person with the beliefs, with preferences, with likes and dislikes, with past experiences, what happened in their life. Nothing happened to you, actually, because you are not that person. Stop nurturing the idea of it and stop convincing yourself that this is who you are.
Amazing, Ivan. And you know about Omega Pyramid, which is coming up in Dallas.
Yes.
So, in line with this topic, surrendering to the highest, what would be your suggestion to this mega project?
Ah, I'm very happy about this question, actually. Um, well, just like anything else that comes out of the consciousness, um, the purpose itself will make sure that it comes to life. So, if life itself decided that there will be a pyramid in Dallas and this big project, it will be guided by itself because it knows how to make itself happen, but it needs tools, it needs instruments. So, all the people who, through their heart, are invited and inspired and motivated to participate, um, will be guided how to do it. But they need to maintain in their minds the mindset, because mind will be used to create the mindset of who is the true creator of this, who is the owner, who is the doer, who provides solutions, and to practice it very simply saying, okay, if I don't see how to solve an issue, how to make it, it is obvious that I don't know. So looking for it in my head, I will not find it because it is not there. It exists in the field of this purpose of the project itself. The project itself is an intelligence in its own right that wants to create a body of itself. So the pyramid is a body of this consciousness that wants to incarnate there in Dallas. So if you are, let's say, the parents, the guardians, the caretakers of it, you need to continuously be asking it what it wants. Um, uh, Going into meditation and open yourself and say, I surrender to this purpose so that it may use this body and mind to give the results it needs. And then it will use each talent of each person exactly perfectly to match the needs of the project. um, Entering into a worry state or wondering is actually creating an energy frequency that rejects the solutions from appearing. So the biggest thing that the team of Omega can do is truly uh, live in as much worryless state and state of trust and state of knowing that their connection with the purpose of the project, with the project itself, is the guarantee that all the actions will come through them.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
That's amazing. And Ivan, Omega Pyramid is also doing the World Meditation Day on December 21st in Dallas. So it's a
Hmm.
event where they're expecting 2,500 people in person and 50,000 plus online to join. So I would like Sharma sir to talk about it.
I wanted you to share, what is the importance of this group meditation? Why December 21st is chosen as World Meditation Day, and what will happen if we all meditate together as a group synchronously? If you can throw some light on this, that will be great.
Well, that's so beautiful. Thank you. I love doing events on these important cosmic moments or planetary, where our planet gets aligned with certain aspects of the sun and the stars. And so the winter and summer solstice and the autumn and spring equinoxes are energy moments. And because energy is needed for everything, um, knowing how to cooperate with energy gives us ease. At certain times of the year, it is much easier to achieve something than in other times of the year. So the winter solstice is when, at least for our northern hemisphere, the Earth stops tilting in one direction and finally starts going back so that the day becomes longer. It is like a victory of light over the darkness, and and it is an energy moment where we are until that moment going deeper, withdrawing into the nothing, when after that moment we can start expressing outwards. So it's always a beautiful time to use the group meditation because um, not only do we know scientifically now, but throughout the ages, we have known that when we sit together and we focus our minds on the same goal, we create this synchronicity of energy that multiplies in many, many ways. And it is important in a way to have a focal point, to have something that people will focus on in that moment as a decision to be achieved, as something that we want. And even it can be abstract, it can be something intangible, but that everybody knows, okay, we are now sitting, the energies are changing, the light is coming to an expression. So whatever we now focus on in our minds is being born. It's like the seed was put and now will grow for the next 6 months. It will have energy impulse to grow. So that's how I see it.
Amazing talking to you, Ivan. The insights that you have shared, the wisdom that you have given today is truly amazing. It just grounded all of us to the basic. And when you said we are carrying the self that is made up so strongly, and that's why we are going so crazy with the mind, and
Mm.
listening to self will give a lot of more peace. That's what all of us are looking for. So thank you so much for taking us through this wisdom. And I think we have a hand raised by Vikil.
Thank you very much, Ivan. It was a fantastic, session. And the words surrender is a, very small word, it's very powerful and very heavy weight. So I have, two questions. One is when we talk about the, surrender and start listening to our inner voice and give the direction and we follow and surrender. So the answer could be simple that we keep doing meditation and once you will start listening to that voice or inner guidance and then you follow. So when you do meditation, you will get lot of inner voice, what to do, what not to do, and those kind of thing. So how to identify that inner voice that okay, this one I have to follow and move on to surrender it. And the second B part of this question is when you start getting into the surrendering something, it is always that, whenever you are not able to do something, you just feel like, okay, I'm surrendering. And the moment you have control, then I became, I am doing it. So how keep the balance on those?
Okay. Um, the first question uh, is why you are actually living. Life serves as a field of exploring which voice is the inner guidance and which voice is just a mental chatter.
Nice. Yeah.
And you cannot usually, I mean, sometimes you will know the difference without testing, but life serves actually that you apply and the consequences of your choices will teach you. There is no avoiding life. In my book, which is called The Answers from Within, I think the first message says the only thing that life wants from you is to live the consequences of your choices, of your actions, because they will be your guru. They will teach you everything. Uh, and you will not need anybody to tell you any advice. It will be very obvious when you are actually observing, following impulse, seeing what is the result, what is the impact of this choice. It will teach you everything. So I have made many, let's say, unpleasant choices. Um, there is a teacher who is he and his wife are very wealthy people, and he said, "Well, you never lose. You either gain or you learn." And he said, "Well, I have to tell you, we have spent millions of dollars on our education," which means they have made mistakes that were costing them millions of dollars, but they never said we failed. No, they said we learned. So your choices will teach you to differentiate and to fine tune your inner guidance system. And of course, you are lucky to have meditation, which is the place where you can ask for clarity. You can feel the clarity. And I go even further. I I have made it such a way that I would speak to the source of everything, saying, "Do not count on me for intelligence. You are the intelligence. Treat me as a child who doesn't know better. And you should know that I take you responsible if you allow me to make choices that do not serve me." It was a radical choice to live like that, okay? But it was part of my radical surrender where I chose to follow Krishna's word. And I said, okay, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this that Krishna is suggesting to Arjuna is gonna work. But what do I have to lose? I don't want to continue living in a lie. So I said, okay, I'll live like this for a 1 month. And after 1 month, if it's doing well or if I see that there is some truth in it, I'll keep for another month. I want life to show itself to me, not that I need to be wondering something. And it did. So, in this radical surrender, where you're even counting on the source to make sure that your choices are the right ones, liberates you from something. And you don't run away from consequences. I don't run away from responsibility. It's not like I'm being a terrible person or irresponsible in this world. I believe that I'm one of the most responsible people. Uh, but I don't feel myself responsible for the choices I'm making. You see, it's a mindset in a way. And what was the second question? Remind me.
Second question was, when you get into the surrendering mode, and then what happens? Whatever you are, things are not able to do or not getting the way, then you feel that you are surrendering. When the things start moving right way, then you feel like, I am doing it. So how you have the balance between
Oh.
that? Ego is coming there again.
there is no balance. We are not trying to balance out anything. There is only one truth or one option. So, um, um, surrender is not giving up.
Yeah.
It's not like this is too difficult, I won't do it, or it seems this is not the way. Uh, None of that. There is only continuously observing what is next to be done. Where am I guided? Trusting that, because you need to fine tune the system. If you are doubting it, you will never get it. So you can't doubt in advance. You will be required to take a risk. Risk will be involved, let's say, for the person, maybe he will be able to lose $10,000 if he does this. What to tell you? Sometimes you need to risk it to see whether the inner guidance was telling you no, stop. It was not laziness, it was just the voice saying no, 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 it's enough. Or is it laziness and you were supposed to continue? So you can't find a balance. We are not looking for balance, we are only looking to truly just follow the voice.
Thank you very much. So nicely you have answered, and thanks a lot, Ivan.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
Thank you, Vikil. We have one more hand raised from Purushottama. You have time, Ivan, to take up his
Yes,
question.
please, I'm here available.
Okay.
Hi, Ivan. It's a very
Hello.
enlightening talk. And so I give two statements, then I will ask you a question. I am the person I prefer to be in the forest than in the city. And I also believe there are billions of things happening every day. If I think I am the doer, I am the most stupidest person on the earth. Said that, I want to ask you, so you understand the Kala Chakra, the wheel of time.
Mm-hmm.
The the billions of the people on this Kala Chakra get crushed. They are
Mm-hmm.
barely surviving with the hand to mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But I am the fortunate person with my education and knowledge, understanding your philosophy to this highest level. I can say I'm at of understand. And also I'm exposed to the previous lot of philosophers and gurus and my reading and whatever. When I'm eating, I feel bad. The billions of people do not have that much of luxury, what I'm enjoying. How to take these billions of people to elevate to this level?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible? Next thing is, my life one time in the house is different when I'm going for a camping in the living in the forest. That is different. But I step into the society, my attitude and my way of thinking and my way of dealing with the people is different. It is not possible. So the conflict is there. So my question is how to elevate this highest philosophy applicable to all the common people. This is only happening to the tiniest population of people. Even knowing it gives me happiness. So, is there any simple answer? What I'm enjoying, that all this whole planet should enjoy it. Is it possible?
Mm-hmm. If it was not possible, I certainly would not be here speaking. It would be pointless. Um, the greatest service to humanity we can do is to live our highest truth, to live what we know to be the best possible. Um, to stop seeing others as victims of their lives. Because when we know this truth, the fact that you are here with me in this gathering is a sign of mastery. Um, Masters are born on this earth. And you can be certain that the worse life that they have physically visible, the greater masters they are. Why do I say that those people having very difficult lives are true masters? Because only a great master has the capacity to limit his mind in such a way that creates so limiting and terrible circumstances and keep living them in spite of evidence that it can be different. So, if masters have chosen to limit themselves to incarnate in such difficult situations, is because they have chosen to live through something, to go to so deep pressure of limitation from which they will liberate themselves. So I do not want to take away from anyone their own chosen experience of liberation, of feeling of mastery that they will have once they go out of that limitation. That doesn't mean that I should be indifferent or not caring. I'm only choosing not to be worried or not to keep thinking that they're poor and limited. I know who is standing behind those bodies. Um, all I can do is follow the laws of physics, which say the higher vibration will pull the lower vibration to its level. So, my job is to assure that the only thing that is under, let's say, my influence is the vibration of this being here. And this being then goes around on the internet and physically on the earth. And with its own presence, elevates the vibration. And then people start remembering themselves. I'm only speaking so that the time would pass by and that the mind would be occupied with something. Uh, Words are not what is actually here working. The presence is at work. The presence is what inspires, it is what wakes up. So, if when you go to the world, do not judge the world. The world is divine. It is a divine creation. And this planet is where billions of true masters have been born into a university level, a postgraduate study that is very, very difficult. It is like you want to postgraduate in, I don't know, some entanglement quantum physics, and you need to do a master thesis. So this is Earth. They're all doing master theses on great, great difficulty because then the joy of waking up from that, of liberating from that, would be so enormous that we will explode from joy as a planet. And it will be very quick. It's not going to last much longer, this test of pressure that we are living. That is how I see, that is how I live. And if there is any chance in any moment that I relieve practically of some suffering, to provide food, to provide care or whatever, I do. Every month I dedicate a part of all our income and what we do to make sure that people in Gaza and in Sudan have things to eat once the border is open and aid can come. But I do not feel pity. I do not. I have gone through war myself, 4 years of it, destruction, the entire destruction, and uh, I I don't think that anybody's pity for you is useful. Actually, you just want to be reminded of your own greatness and you want to be given aid that is physical in the moment or provided tools that you recreate your own life as an independent master, not as a poor little pitiful person who needs help of others continuously. So I will never cherish keeping others in despair or feeling that I'm doing something great just because this year we have provided food for 20 million poor people instead of 15 million last year. That is no great achievement. There are many organizations in the world who feel that they have done better job this year because this year they fed 200 million hungry people instead of 100 last year. No, great achievement would be that there are no hungry people this year. Not that there is 100 more million. So when you focus yourself on helping the poor, you are creating the poor people because your life purpose depends on the poverty of others. And because you are the creator of your reality, when you feel that you need to be helping, life will make sure that there are people who need to be helped. I rather that you think that I would rather be the spreader of joy rather than the helper of the poor. Helping poor should be just a temporary thing. Rather, the mission would be we support the abundance of all the people, not helping the poor. So, changing this mindset, how we see the world, will actually completely change what we see in the world. I don't know if this was clear.
Well, I got a partial answer, but follow-up question is basically 99% in the world, what we see is injustice
I
and
don't. I do not live in that
that's
world.
fine. That's fine. I totally
Yeah.
the what you see and what I
But
see.
why do you choose to see that?
I mean, obviously, what I perceive, if there is a lie, person is telling, it is a lie. And so many things happen in the world with that lie.
You
Consequently
see,
there.
dear friend, when I was in LA for this mega meditation summit, we were put in a hotel. In the lobby of the hotel every day when we would have breakfast, they had all these TVs turned on with the news, as if that's what you need. It was a big holiday weekend, the Labor Day weekend, so millions, I don't know, 50 million Americans were going on holidays in their cars and in airplanes. And the news was saying, this holiday weekend, 2 people died in their cars trying to reach their holiday destination. And it was all about this tragic. That is not the truth. The truth is that 49 million and 999,998 people made it safely to their holidays, and that 2 people out of 50 million died. Why this disbalance? How can the misery that 99% is bad? It is not true. 99% is good. The bad is so little, but is so inflated that we then give energy and we feed it. And it keeps being bad because the conscious people who have the power of their mind very high are focusing their minds on the negative instead of making sure that they see the goodness. We are responsible here, if I can say that. Those who are aware carry the greatest, let's say, burden of responsibility without wanting to burden anyone.
So much, Ivan. It was really beautiful, and as you were giving the answers for all these questions, it made more clear about the subject. And also, while you were saying what we choose to see, that's what gets created in our reality, which is very true. And instead of complaining, judging, and analyzing, as you said, if we can raise our vibrations and pull the vibration of the planet to a higher level, I think we are doing a better contribution. So thank you so much today for taking us through this wisdom. Your presence made a difference. Thank you so much. Loved it.
Pleasure.
So I really thank for your time and wisdoms, Ivan. Thank you.